like to see that. And it's going to take me a second. I've got YouTube going too, and it'll take me a second to get that figured out here. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it, YouTubers, so like I say, you just have to be patient with me. Let me pull us up on YouTube here now. And I'm running just a tad bit late. I forgot to plug in my internet today. I've been on the phone all day with, well, not all day, but all morning with one of our internet provider. Can you tell I can't do two things at one time? I'm sitting here trying to pull up my video. And I tell you what, I've called and talked to so many people about our problem. Whoops.
I'm running.
And this lady, she had us fixed in 10 minutes, but I forgot to hook the cable back up. I couldn't figure out on my end why I couldn't go live. So, but anyway, here we are. So, hey, Wendy. Hey, Marilyn. Yeah, you got me. I have been busy. I tell you what, yesterday I collapsed, though. I took it easy a little bit. I did a little bit of work down here. But yeah, I had to take a little bit of rest yesterday. I did want to show you guys a couple of things I just listed. These are Ferris silk ribbons, and you know, I'm kind of new to selling ribbon, and so I don't have a whole lot of them, but I did just list this beauty. Ferris silk ribbon, if you're not familiar, is high quality designer ribbon. Is that not beautiful for Christmas? I don't know if you can see the sparkly, but I'll show you that. And then I've got another one. I'm doing this while I'm waiting for YouTube to come up here. Sorry, you guys. All right, I've got another one. This is also fair silk. I'm using this in a Santa Claus ribbon. Is that not gorgeous? Like I said, I've listed a few of them. And depending on how they sell, then I can always get more. But isn't that gorgeous? Santa red, real plush velvet, 4-inch wired. And then I've got a, it's called Country Check. It's called Country Check, where you could use this in any, this is kind of an everyday all year, but I'm going to pair it with the Santa in a wreath, and I'll show you, hopefully in a week or so. Okay? All right, now I think I've got hooked up to YouTube now, so if anybody's there, let me know, say hi, and like I said, be patient with me on YouTube because I'm kind of learning all the ins and outs on that. And we've gone, oh yes, it is stunning, thank you. But gone live on Facebook a million times, but YouTube is brand new to me, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to get my camera down so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Close your eyes if it bothers you to move. I'm going to pull you right over the top of me. There you go. Let me get this out of here. Okay. All right, now, like I said, we're going to be making this bow first. Some of you may have already seen it, but now the thing about this is it does have one directional ribbon in it. This pumpkin ribbon right here is one directional ribbon. So we have to make this bow just a little bit different than we typically would, okay? And we'll talk through that. It has several layers also. We have 3 loops back in the back. We have 1 loop then that separates all this. Then I've got 2 loops, then 1, then 2. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started making our bow. And if you're not familiar with my channel here or my page, we go live on Tuesdays every day or every week about 1 o'clock, and we make bows. And we might do a handmade bow. We might use the easy bow like we're going to do today, or we might use the pro bow, okay? The easy bow maker, if you're not familiar, we're going to hold our ribbon over here, okay? We're going to make our bow over here between these 2 spools. You can see those, okay? And I get a lot of questions about this little spool here. This one I never use. It is for little bitty bows, like baby bows, okay? All right. Let me get this going here now. And the Easy Bow Maker, I like it because you can watch your bow being made as you make it. And if you've not made the bow before, you can change your mind and change out your ribbons pretty easily. It also has these markers here as far as your measuring guides, okay? It's 8 inches on either side of this peg. This whole thing is about 20 inches, okay? All right, now we're going to put our ribbon on, and this is about a 2.5 inch wired ribbon. I always recommend wired ribbon, and it needs to be a good quality ribbon, especially if you're starting out. Don't be trying to make a nice fancy bow with poor quality ribbon, okay? You're just going to get frustrated. I mean, as you learn to make bows and you get a little bit more familiar, then there are tricks where you can take a lesser quality ribbon and work with it. But when you're starting out, you don't want to be frustrated, okay? So get you a decent quality ribbon. Sam's actually has their Christmas ribbon out right now, and that'd be a good place to get you inexpensive ribbon that's some of it is decent quality, okay? They've got the samples on either side of their display. Just feel of that ribbon. Feel how it feels. If it's flimsy, don't get it. On that same note, you can get ribbon that's too stiff also. That is a little bit difficult to manage. Like, for example, that Ferrosilk ribbon that I showed you to start with. That might be a little bit difficult for somebody to handle if you're not used to making a lot of bows, okay? All right, now, with the Easy Bow, we're going to be placing our ribbon with the ribbon going out away from us. If you forget, it's not a big deal, but it just makes this part of the bow a little bit less interference with your hands, okay, if the ribbon's coming off and away from you, okay? Get a decent amount of ribbon off, okay? All right, now I'm going to make this, my end bow needs to have tails about 14 inches, okay? So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to look, there's 8, and then I'm going to come over here about 6 inches on the other side. So I've got about 14 inches. I'm going to err on the side of caution because I'm trying to make it just like my bow that I showed you. So I'm going to use a little bit of caution so I can trim it shorter if I need to, okay? All right, now I've got my 14 inches marked here. I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to run this ribbon down vertically with the good side of the ribbon away from me, okay? A lot of, or probably most ribbons have just one side that's better than the other, and you'll hear me, that's called what I call the good side, okay? All right, so that good side away from me, and we're going to twist it as we go down, okay? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you might be able to see a little better. Hey, Doris, hey, Tammy and Betty, how are you guys? Oh, Costco has ribbon out too. We don't have a Costco where I live, so I never go there, so I'm not familiar with it. Hey, Janet. Good deal. Welcome on YouTube. All right, now we're going to make 3 loops on either side, and they're going to be 5-inch loops, okay? So here's my 5-inch marker here. I'm going to take my thumb over about 5 inches, and I'm going to hold it there, okay? Now I'm going to take this down vertically, down those spools again. Good side is away from me. All right, when I get it about the length I want, I'm going to let go, I'm going to twist it and push it down. Okay, so now we have our first loop done. Okay, all right, now I'm going to come over here to the other side, and I'm going to find 5 inches over here. I'm going to take my thumb, kind of hold it. Again, I'm going to put it down vertically, good side away from me. Twist it, push it down. And every time you come back here to the center, you want to push this down because you want your bow center to be good and tight. And that's going to give you a good pop. See how that ribbon kind of pops up away from the center, that's going to help your bow loop stay open, okay? All right, now let's just keep repeating the process. Now I've got this other loop. I can use this to measure or compare against, so I don't need to look down here and look for my 5 inches, okay? All right, we're going to twist it, push it down. Come back over here. Twist it, push it down. Get a little bit more ribbon. All right, bring it down here. Twist it, push it down. Okay? All right, and if you can see that you got one like there, I had that one a little bit short, so I just took care of it right now. Okay? But they don't fret over making these bow loops perfect. Okay? They do not have to be exactly the same length. Okay, I'm going to get this just a little bit longer. Okay. All right, now we've already got 2 loops over here. I just need 1 more. Okay? So this is going to be my last loop. I do not have to twist it because the good side is already showing at me. Okay? And this will be a little easier to visualize once I get to the one-sided or the printed ribbon. This one's pretty close. I mean, if you were here in person, you could see that this has a good side and a bad side, but it's a little difficult to tell on this one. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to compare it with my other loops. Try not to mess them up. All right, now I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to put it down there. Okay? Now, if I was brand new starting out making ribbon or making bows, I'd be happy with that bow right there. I could call it done. Okay? But we're going to keep on going because I got a lot of ribbon to use. Okay? All right, now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to compare my tails. Trim this off. If you want to, you can go ahead and dovetail them. Okay, dovetailing, if you're not familiar, I'm just going to take these 2 edges of the ribbon that are wired, fold it together. Okay, so this is the folded side, this is the wired side, and I'm going to cut it at an angle. Okay, and that ends up in a nice V shape. Some people call this fishtailing. Hey Rosario, hey Sharon. And there's Yvette on YouTube. Hello and welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so now we've got our first ribbon made into our, whoops, there goes the, onto the floor. Now we've got our first layer done, okay? All right, now here is the tricky one. Don't let it scare you though, okay? But this is what we call one-sided ribbon. Some people call it vertical ribbon, meaning that all the pattern goes in one direction, okay? All right, and some people it does not bother if you've got your pumpkins going wrong side or upside down. It does bother me, so I work toward making them stay the right direction, okay? All right, now we're going to put this on here. Ribbon's going away from me again. All right, now this one, we're going to make this bow loop almost, or this portion of the bow almost out of the maker, okay, if that makes sense. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this, and this one's actually going to have some tails up above, like this other one, okay? So I've got some tails going up there, if you can see that. All right, so I'm going to work it to where I want the pumpkin face to show. All right, now I'm just going to bring it over here. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to bring it back up here. This loop is going to be about 4.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to bring this right here by my peg. I'm going to look over here about 4.5 inches. Just like that. I'm going to pinch it. Okay? And I'm just going to set that down in there. Okay? Now, There's lots of ways to do this. If you have another way that you like and it works for you, by all means do that. Use that method. This is the way I do this, okay? All right, now we've got one loop, pumpkins facing me, okay? Now I'm just going to come up here, get my ribbon untwisted. All right, I'm going to come over here, check on my 4.5 inches. And a tip, I usually am looking, I've got my cutting mat here. It has the measurements here. Right here is about the 5-inch mark. And I just look down here, in about 1/2 inch, I can see my mark right here. I mean, if you want to pull back your ribbon, you can do that. But this is what I'm looking at, okay, when I get to this point. So let's look over here. We're looking at 4.5 inches. I'm going to pinch it and just set it down in there, okay? All right, now we've got the first half of our bow made. All the pumpkins are going the right direction. I'll turn it around. I know they're upside down for you, but there's no way I could do this the other way, okay? So now all the pumpkins are looking the right direction, okay? All right, now we'll move back here a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to compare with my other tail. I'm going to cut that off, okay? All right, now for the other side of the bow, we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to make this a little bit tall because by the time I dovetail this, I'll be cutting right in that guy's head, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring it about here. All right, I've got my finger here at the peg. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to come over here about 4.5 inches, or I'll just compare it to that previous bow loop that we just made. I'm going to pinch it. Set it down in there. Okay? How easy is that, guys? All right, now we're going to do the same thing. Come over here, compare it with that other bow loop. Pinch it. And we're going to set it down in there. Okay? And this is the way you'll want to make your bow. Like I said, unless you have another way that you like to do it. This is the way that you're going to want to make your bow. Say if you've got words on your ribbon or something like that. Christmas trees, lots of Christmas ribbon seems like it has wording on it or One Direction pattern. But this is the way I do it, okay? All right, let me get this bow loop here where you can see it. Push everything down, just like we did before. Get all our loops going in the right direction, okay? All right, I just realized I got ahead of myself. I forgot to put a loop in. So here's why I like the easy bow, guys, okay? I'm going to lift this section we just did. I was so excited to get going on this to show you. I'm going to lift this up. And make sure I don't have my other ribbon. Like I was telling you earlier, if you decide you don't like your bow, or if you, like I did, I messed up, I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to get a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to secure this real lightly. We'll set that off to the side, and we'll add it here later, okay? I never promised to be perfect, you guys. That's all my whole day's been today. It's been a comedy of errors. All right, now we're going to put down, I wanted to put one loop in between those two patterns there, okay? All right, so let's trim this off. All right. Now, this is also one-sided ribbon. It's solid ribbon. It's a lame, a lot of sparkle. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to compare with my tail. Okay. Got my finger up here to mark. We're going to slide that down, twist. Okay, and I'll show you here exactly why we do this one loop here, or why I like to do this one loop. All right, now I'm going to come over here about 4.5 inches. Right here. I'm going to slide it down. Good side is away from me. Twist it. Okay. Now this, we're just putting one loop on either side, so I don't have to twist. The good side's already showing, okay? All right, I'm going to come over here about 4.5 inches. Got right there. Pinch it. And set it down there. Okay? All right, now I'll come down here and trim my tail. Now this lame, it does tend to fray. So I'm going to cut it at an angle instead of dovetailing it. I just cut it just right at an angle. Okay? If I cut that dovetail, it's just going to be a frayed mess. Okay? Beautiful ribbon though. Okay? All right, now let's bring this bow that I forgot about, or that I messed up here. Let's put this, we're just going to slide that right back down in there. Okay, no harm done. Isn't that handy? Now, if I was making that with the Pro bow, I would have had to start all over. Don't get me wrong though, I love the Pro bow. But I make different bows with different ways. All right, I'll get my tail going here. Let's go ahead and dovetail this pumpkin ribbon. Okay, and we'll come back and dovetail those here in a little bit. All right, now I'm looking at the other bow, what I need now. Okay, I need one more loop of this. And the reason, I told you I was going to tell you the reason I use that. I like to separate my patterns most times, not always, but most times with a solid. And that way I can better appreciate both patterns, if that makes sense. Sometimes if you get two patterns on top of another, on top of each other, they kind of blur. And I like to I compared it the other day to matting a picture. You've got the picture frame, maybe a real elaborate picture frame, and then you put the solid mat around it, and then you put the focal point, or the primary picture that you are wanting to display. That's my thinking on making my bows this way, okay? And that's not to say I won't use a pattern on top of a pattern. I do, but that's why you'll see me do this sometimes, okay? All right, now, so I'm going to put another purple layer in here. All right, and again, we're going to get our tail, and each time I'm doing a tail, I'm bringing it just a little shorter than the one before, okay? So this one's probably about inch or so shorter than the one before, okay? Okay, all right, so I've got my finger here kind of measuring. We're going to slide that down, good side away from me, twist. Now this one, these loops were 4.5 inches. This one I'm going to make about 4 inches. Actually, let me look at this other bow here real quick first. Yeah. Okay, we're going to make this about 4 inches, maybe a tad bit little or smaller. All right. So I'm looking down here at my mat. I know this is 5 inches. This is 4 inches. Okay, so I need it about right here. Okay, we're going to twist it, push it down. And you'll notice now I've got quite a bit of ribbon in here, so I'm having to kind of hold my hand here, or my finger here, so that that ribbon doesn't just slide up, okay? All right, this one is the last loop. I don't need to twist it. I do need to see if it's 4 inches. Let's see, 5. Okay. All right, we're good. Push that down. Okay. All right, let's trim our ribbon. And again, I'm going to have to cut this at an angle. Cut this at an angle. Okay. All right, now we got one more ribbon to add. That's this candy corn. This has a pattern on it, but it's not one directional. Thank goodness, right? You can see you've got candy corn going all different directions. So I can just do that just like a normal ribbon. Okay, put it on the spool. Ribbon's going away from me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail this while I've got it here. Okay. All right, now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to compare with my last tail. I'm going to put this in, good side away, twist, push it down. Okay. All right, this one's going to be about 3.5 inches. And this one we're going to make 2 loops on either side. All right, so find my measurements again. So there's 5. There's 4, so I need to go in just a little bit more. Right here. All right, and I'm putting it down, good side away from me. Twist. Holding it down. All right, find my 3.5. Okay, found it. Twist. And push it down. All right, now these other 2, I can just compare it with my previously placed loop. Twist, push it down. Now this is the last loop, so I do not have to twist it. All right, and bring it over here about where that one is, pinch it. And push it down. Okay, I feel like this one's just a little bit loose or a little bit long, so I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. All right, now let's trim this off. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and dovetail this while I got it. Let me hold that. Okay, now we've got our bow completely made as far as the loops. Now I want to go ahead and get it off of the maker, right? Let's get all my loops going the right direction here. Okay. All right, now this is really thick bow. So what I like to use is a zip tie. You can use a pipe cleaner, but it's going to be tough. I mean, you can, like, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be tough. This is going to be a lot easier, a lot more secure, because some pipe cleaners can break, okay? Just like some floral wire can break. I've had that happen before, all right? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go underneath all this ribbon with this zip tie, and I'm going to place it diagonally through these pegs, okay? I want to make sure that I've got all the ribbon up off of the board, and I also want to think about this little knob here. If you can see that little knob that's on a zip tie, make sure that's pointing down towards your board or towards the table. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to put this underneath all the ribbon. Make sure you have all the ribbon. I always say, I always say these things because it's mistakes I've made before. You don't want to get your zip tie secured and then realize you forgot part of the ribbon on the board, okay? All right, so I'm going to get this cinched down just lightly while it's still down there, okay? Now I'm going to start sliding it up. Make sure one more time that I've got all my ribbon. And I do. All right, let's get this out of the way. I'm going to back up just a little bit now so you can see what I'm doing. All right, let's go ahead and get all our all our loops situated, our tails situated where we want them. Okay. And I want, just like this, one back here, I want this in between these two loops, okay, to separate our pattern. Had to double check. That made me, felt like that ribbon wasn't in that zip tie. Okay. All right, now I've got all my loops about the way I want them. Now I'm going to switch it over here, cinch it down just a little bit. Now I need some way to connect this to the wreath or to the banister or to a lantern, whatever I'm going to connect it to. Oh, and one more thing here. I see that I don't have my loops completely twisted. Let's fix those right now before we cinch down this tie. Because once you cinch this down, it's going to be, you know, you're not going to be able to move it very easily. Okay? All right, now I've got a pipe cleaner. And I choose brown because if somebody's putting this on a grapevine wreath, then it's going to blend in. But if you know what you're going to use it for and you have a pipe cleaner that's going to match it, then by all means do that. Okay? All right, now I'm going to slide this right in underneath of here. Get it kind of even. I'm going to turn that back around, make sure everything's set the way I want it. All right, now I'm going to tighten it down. Once you're happy, tighten it down. Okay? All right, so that's what we have so far. And you guys, normally it doesn't take this long to make a bow. I mean, I can whip this up in no time, but you know, talking and explaining things, of course, it's a little bit longer. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail these guys up here. Okay. Now, we still have that zip tie there, right? We got that zip tie in the middle of the bow. And, you know, if I were putting this on a wreath, I wouldn't worry about it because I will be putting things in there. But, you know, I don't know what my customer is going to use this for. So I am going to go ahead, I'm going to cover that up. And remember this little thing I cut off that lame ribbon? All I did, just cut halfway down for about 8 to 10 inches. Don't short yourself because it's hard to fold this if you don't have enough ribbon. But I'm going to take the, you know, this is the raw edge here. Okay? I'm going to fold this underneath like this. Okay? You see that? The raw edge is underneath of that wire, okay? It's not exposed. Because, as I said, that lame, it will fray. And most ribbon, once you cut it lengthwise like this, it's going to fray, okay? All right, I'm going to slide this down. And I'm going to put it right over the top of that zip tie. Oh, and I just realized I forgot to cut off this thing. The end of my zip tie here. Okay? No big deal. All right, I'm going to make sure I've got all my tails on the right side and all my loops on the right side. Okay? Again, because I've done that before and it sure is irritating. All right, I'm just going to tie this in a knot. That way your customer's getting a nice finished bow, or yourself, you've got a nice finished bow. You don't want that zip tie showing. Okay, I'm just going to trim off those edges there. Okay? All right, now you got a beautiful bow. Okay? Get all my tails going the right direction here. Easy peasy, right? Yeah, sometimes, like I said, the one-directional rhythm, it takes a little bit, you know, to get the hang of it. But if you just think through the process and remember, you're going to be making your bow outside of the maker. Okay? All right, now, I've got to make another bow. Like I said, I'm making the ones today for sale, to sell. Actually, I've already sold. If you want to stay on and watch me use the Pro Bow, that's what I've got to do with this one. Like I said, depending on the different types of ribbon or types of bow I make, dictates what I use to make it, whether it be handmade, Pro Bow, or Easy Bow. And this one I need to make with the Pro Bow. Okay? You can make this same bow with the Easy Bow. I just prefer the look I get with the Pro Bow with this one. I'm going to make it pretty fast though. I do have very slowed down instructions on my YouTube channel, I believe, and I know for sure on my Facebook page and on my blog how to use the Pro Bow step by step. But the reason I wanted to show you this, oh, Kathy, I see you asking about your ribbon. Yes, I did. October, the first part of October is when that's supposed to come in now. They keep on stretching the date. I think I sent you a message on that. I may not have, Kathy. I apologize. But oh, thank you, Janet. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying this. So, but anyway, I've heard people say after my tutorials that they don't want to do the Pro Bow because it takes so long. Well, the taking so long part is because I'm doing it, here trying to teach. I'm going to show you how I can make it without talking you. Well, I'll talk you through a little bit, but I'm not going to stop and explain everything. Like I said, if you need that, I've got other tutorials. I'll be happy to help you find them. I love my Pro Bow. Now, there is a big learning curve with it, but once you catch it onto it, you'll love it. It makes very pretty bows, I think. Okay? All right, and I need to get my other bow that I've got a comparison. Actually, I haven't fluffed it yet, but I need this so I can kind of look at my loops to see what direction or what one I need to put when. Okay, now, opposed to the Easy Bow, the Pro Bow, you make your bow from the top down. The Easy Bow, we just made it. We made it from the bottom up. This is the opposite from the top down, okay? And I'm going to use some floral wire with this one. Now, I do, when I sell my ribbons or my bows with this, I do secure it with a zip tie because I use really fine 26 gauge wire, which is a little bit, it can be fragile, okay? Oh, Susanna's purchased one. Good for you. Yeah, very easy to use. Well, I didn't think it was easy to learn. You must be better than me, but yeah, I think there's a learning curve. But all right, now I'm going to measure off about 26 inches of 26 gauge ribbon, or I'm sorry, wire. I'm going to make 2 pieces of that. I said I wasn't going to talk through this, didn't I? All right, I'm going to be quiet now. But I just want to show you how quickly you can make a bow. I'm not going to race through it, but all right, I'm going to take my 2 pieces. I'm folding them in half. I'm putting 1 piece off to the side. All right, now this is going to be my middle ribbon, or the top ribbon on the bow. I'm going to cut this and dovetail here. I'll measure off about 5 inches. I'll pinch it. I'll put one of the wires over it. I'm going to hook it to my Pro Bow. Again, I know I'm going through this fast, but I just want to show you that it's not as slow as what you think. I think I can make a Pro Bow bow as quicker than I can a Easy Bow one. Wrap that around the top peg. Wrap this around the bottom peg. Tuck it under. Get this out of the way. Bring it over here. We're going to twist it. Twist it. Bring it around a peg. Bring it center. Twist it. Okay, get my other piece of wire, slide it through. And like I said, I've got other slowed down videos of this if you need to watch it. Secure that, get it out of the way, and dovetail. All right, so the first ribbon is done. Now let me look to see what else I need to do. Okay. Like I said, I had a run on bows this weekend, and I didn't have some of them made up yet. All right, I'm going to dovetail this. Lay it down here about 5 inches. Pinch it. Secure it. Tail out of the way. Yeah, I can sit there and watch TV and do these over and over. That's the way I like to work in batches. You know, do the same thing over and over, and it's just I think you're more productive that way. And you know, Etsy likes multiples. So if you're making bows, don't make just a single and be done. Make you some multiples, and that'll get you higher up in the search rank, or the search rankings. All right, let's get our burgundy. Now this is a Dupioni ribbon. It's a satin, only it's a thick satin, and it's just a little bit wavy. That's the nature of it. Very high quality satin. All right, twist. Out of the way. I love these colors in this. Very rich fall colors. I just got some Mum's this burgundy color yesterday. I hope I didn't get them too early. But my summer things were dying, so I needed to put something in our front porch. Yeah, it's like all of a sudden they just start turning brown and there's no turning back. All right, now I need to come back with this one. Dovetail it. I'm going to bring it about 6 inches. Pinch it. Pinch it. Bring it around the peg. Got that laying on something here. I don't know what. All right, twist it. Gets a little tougher when you're out here this far, when you got this many layers on your bow. This ribbon here is very thick. Okay, pinch it. Okay, one more. Back to the middle there. Now, some nights this is my entertainment when I'm sitting upstairs with my husband. Sit there with my pro bow out and make bows. All right. Okay. Now the thing about this one is I've got to fluff it. I've got to use my fluff box and fluff this. Because it just looks like a sandwich right now, a ribbon sandwich. right, so that's what I have so far. Okay. Obviously, we need to do something more with it, though, right? Let me get this out of the way here. I've got to get my fluff box. Anybody been timing? I don't know how long it takes me to make a bow with this, but like I said, it's not as long as what you think when you're not talking and trying to demonstrate. All right, let's see. I'm just fluffing my bow. You'll see how it comes to life here. Let's see which way to go. This way then. I'm just taking, as I go up, I'm just taking this the opposite direction of what I did the one before. If you can see that. Right, and let's see, so we'll go this way. This way. All right, there you go. That's the fast version. And of course, you got to come in here and just kind of, you know, even up your tails and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not that bad. It doesn't take that long. Okay. So that's what we have. Easy peasy. Hey, Rose. Oh, thank you, Janet. Thank you. Oh, Janet, you got a pro bow, but you're not using it? I went through a spell, and I didn't either. And then I did it. I'm going to raise you guys up, so watch your, close your eyes if you don't want to watch this. But I went through a spell where I didn't use it either. And I kind of got away from it. I forgot about it. And then I started doing these Bow Tuesdays, and I thought, well, heck, why don't I get that thing out? And it's just like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you know, you just got to do it over and over and over, and then you can just do it. I can do it, not with my eyes closed, but anyway. But I like the way the bows look whenever you use the Pro Bow. That's just my preference. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can make really beautiful ones the other way too, but I don't know. I like it a lot. So now, if you are just now tuning in, I did show some ribbons that I just listed. I'm supposed to be getting a fall ribbon in, a fall ribbon set in this afternoon. I'm not going to hold my breath because sometimes they change tracking on you, and then you don't know about it till tomorrow. But as soon as I get those available, then we'll get those listed as well. It's really a cute fall bow that I've got put together. So, okay, all right. Let me see if I've got any other questions. So, how many pegs did I use on my Pro Bow? I usually use, let's see, including the center one, I usually use 11. I usually don't use this one unless I'm making a huge bow, and sometimes what I'll do, those last two ribbons, like sometimes to me the very outer ribbon there is a little bit too long for my taste, or sometimes if you're using a weak ribbon, sometimes what I'll do, I'll do 2 ribbons on this peg. So I still have the same amount of loops, but the bottom is more symmetrical, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, and on that particular one, I used the center one too. Okay? All right, but I love it. All right, let me see if I have any other questions here. Oh, the wreath on my wreath stand? Absolutely. Yeah, we made this on a live. I think I did this one on Facebook the other night. And you know what? I was going to do like I did today and go live both on Facebook and YouTube. But I was so tired. I think I forgot to go live to put YouTube on there, but yeah, it's a Black Eyed Susans, and there is a video on my Facebook page on how to make this. I love it. It's like I said, it's fall, but it's a happy fall, not like a dark, depressing fall. I'm a fan of sunflowers and Black Eyed Susans, though. We've got a bunch of them in our house, so okay. Oh, thank you, Berlin. Thank you so much. I do have it listed anytime. Like I said, I know YouTubers don't know me as much as what the Facebook people do. Anytime I'm doing a live video, making a wreath or something like that, I always have it listed for sale in my Etsy shop, and a lot of times it does sell. This one did not yet. So, Christine's got a question on Facebook about as far as putting the two on top of each other on the peg on the Pro Bow. Would you still use all but the last peg? No. When I do that, Christine, I do it instead of another peg. So I usually, what I'll do is on this, let's see, so it'd be not the next to the last, but the one in, I do two on this one. This one right here. Okay? And like I said, it just makes the perimeter of the bow a little bit more symmetrical. And sometimes to me, if I'm just making this a bow by itself to sell, it looks kind of gangly to me with just this one out here. So, but there again, other bows, I'll use all of them. So it just depends. So, all but the last leg. Yeah, all right, let me see. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to scroll back through Facebook and see if I missed anything. Oh, thank you, Shirley. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. As I said, I've got those ribbons that I showed you earlier. I've got those listed on, it's www.boxmybow.com, and that'll take you there if you're interested. These are high-end ribbons, Ferris silk, and if you're familiar with them, they call them designer ribbons, but they're a little bit on the more expensive side. If you're a brand new making bows, I wouldn't suggest these. These are pretty stiff, but you'll grow to love them, I tell you. So, okay. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, Lord, as I just saw you in there. Hey, how are you? You guys have a great rest of your day. If you know anybody that would benefit from this video, if you wouldn't mind putting it on your page, I really appreciate it. Let them know. And we'll be back here making bows again next Tuesday. And usually I have it about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, barring anything unforeseen. If you're on my text list, which is up in the description of this video, I usually put out a text about 30 minutes before I go live, just to let you know. And I think that's all I needed to tell you on that. So, all right, thank you so much. Stay safe, and I will catch you, let's see, next time, which will be Friday.